potential that you get rejected.
Work instead of having cocktail.
The lavish ones, you know, some of the solutions.
Considered to be the or, even though, you know, you set up a neighborhood killed so easily. So that's very important.
Well, last night's Oscar Award show, Hollywood threw out convention with a new kind of host with unconventional humor. Question is, did it work? Let's ask Ebru cinema analyst Bill Timoney.
I like cinemaist. Cinemaist, I like that. It's better than Cinemaniac.
Let's talk about those big surprises.
And pardon me if I sound a little fuzzy, but I watched the whole show, so I only got 47 minutes of sleep last night. There was no surprise in Best Picture. It was Argo. It was Argo all the way. Everybody was calling it from day one, and I think it deserved it. The other films were terrific. I got to tell you who one of the big winners was that I think not everybody realized. Grant Heslov is one of the producers of Argo. He started as a young actor some years ago, and he had some success early on in his career. And he met a guy socially, an actor who was starving and had to leave town because he wasn't making it, George Clooney.
Is that
and
right?
Heslov let Clooney sleep on his couch for months, didn't charge him rent, let him eat out of his refrigerator. And while he had this like permanent house guest, they talked about movies, the kind of movies they're going to make when they make it. Clooney makes it big. What does he do? He comes back, he finds Grant Heslov, and they become partners in their own production company.
Wow.
So all that stuff that you hear and the public hears about George Clooney's this and he's making this movie, he's making this movie, it's not just George Clooney, it's George Clooney, Grant Heslov. So last night, when the two of them and Ben Affleck, who also produced Argo, won Best Picture, they got up and instead of Clooney's talking or Affleck talking first, Grant Heslov stood up and said, I know what you're thinking, who are those three really attractive producers?
Right.
Got a big laugh. The world hasn't really known about Clooney's
The
silent
backstory.
partner. Now they know who Grant Heslov is, and I
Wow.
think he's a big winner.
That's an incredible story.
Yeah, it is.
Let's talk about the host, Seth MacFarlane. He said to folks when they announced that he was going to be the host, ask your kids.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the conventional Hollywood folks didn't know who
It was a great. I actually was doing interviews on Friday, and I was talking to different radio DJs around the country, and they were all saying the same thing: who is Seth MacFarlane? And I referred to that same comment you made: just ask your kids. But MacFarlane also did something smart. When he was first announced as the host, he said he's going to be destroyed no matter what he does.
Exactly.
And this morning, it's ranging the gamut. I mean, I'm hearing a lot of comments in the press and out there in cyberspace about how great he was, and an awful lot saying how terrible he was and how much he bombed. I don't think he bombed.
I thought it was fabulous. He was
Good.
funny.
I'm
he
glad
was
to hear you say
different.
that. Funny, different, but also conventional. He's the guy who moves it along. He makes a lot of fun observations. Yeah, he was kind of wicked and kind of trashy, and there were maybe two lines I really could have done without.
Yeah.
But I also think he brought the house down pretty consistently. Very uncomfortable when he started. My wife even said, "Can you see the flames?" He was going down in flames.
Oh, and the thing with Shatner?
But it was a setup for Shatner to come in and say, "You're doing terribly."
Right.
So that took a lot of guts to actually get up and do like this bad stand-up routine when everybody in the audience is panicking, saying he's bombing, and it turns out he's doing it on purpose. Pretty smart guy.
One of the surprises I thought was interesting, Best Supporting Actor.
That was the big shock, and that's where I fell off the train with my ballot from the very beginning. I thought, Tommy Lee Jones was the inside favorite. I was sure it was going to be Alan Arkin because he plays exactly who is in the Academy. An old white guy who's spent his career, slugging it out in Hollywood. And I thought he would get the Oscar. I thought, why? Christoph Waltz is wonderful in Django Unchained. But it's the exact same performance he gave a couple years ago in Inglourious Bastards. He won the Oscar for that, and he spoke 4 languages, and he only spoke 1 in this, so I wrote it off, and I was wrong to do that.
Let me ask you about the wins, what they say about this year, Hollywood this year.
All right, the big win with 4 wins is Life of Pi. And that says that the Academy will embrace innovative filmmaking. They kept talking about how the book was considered unfilmable. The technical achievements, it deserved all the Oscars.
Visually
that won.
stunning.
Yeah, I love that. Yes, Amour was a lock for foreign language. It was as much a lock as Daniel Day-Lewis was for Best Actor for Lincoln. But I also think the foreign language category had a lot of really exciting nominees, and it showed that wing of the Academy is really paying attention. And here's something that most people don't realize. The Academy made sure that all the shorts, the animated, the live action, the documentaries, that the DVDs of them were sent to all Academy members. And in the past, the Academy never saw all of them unless they really worked hard to go to a screening. And you saw that some of the winners thanked the Academy for making that happen.
Yeah, and that says something about the Academy's outreach.
Right, that they're paying attention to what do they need to improve and what are they going to do to make that happen.
A lot of homage to Hollywood music. The soundtracks to movies. We heard a lot of those old ones. I was surprised at some of the singing was good. Adele surprised me. I thought she phoned it in. It didn't, this is the 50th anniversary of Bond.
Right.
And she's coming out there to blow it, and she does.
Well, she's behind the 8 ball because Shirley Bassey just comes out.
Exactly.
Dame Shirley Bassey, and nails Goldfinger the way she did back in 1964.
Yeah.
I actually felt Adele was doing her thing. And I thought the orchestra was overwhelming.
Overwhelming.
So I don't think it was so much that she was dialing it down, but they were bringing the music up a little too much, and suddenly she was struggling with the orchestra instead of them playing together.
Yeah, hats off to Shirley Bassey. She really delivered.
And the first time a Bond film has ever won more than one Academy Award, even though it tied with Zero Dark 30, which was Zero Dark 30's only Oscar.
Yeah.
But I think that's history in the making for the Bonds franchise too.
Good stuff, Bill. Always insightful. Look
Great
forward
to see
to the
you.
next time we talk.
See you next year.
All right.